walking, driving. Everybody in town, I think, was out.
The Two Rivers community comes together to search for missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu.
I have a 3-year-old boy also and 2 other kids, so I don't know, what would somebody do for me in this situation? And I don't know, it's just tough.
As investigators collect clues, the hope is to find something, anything, to end 2 days of turmoil.
Him alive, obviously, would be the best, but some kind of a clue that makes everybody know where to go or what the next step is.
Team coverage of the search for Elijah tops Action 2 News at 5.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. The community of Two Rivers remains on the lookout for 3-year-old Elijah Vu, who was reported missing yesterday.
Elijah is the child behind yesterday's Amber Alert, which is still ongoing. The case is being labeled an abduction. Elijah last seen on Mishicot Road in Two Rivers yesterday morning at 8 a.m. Police say he's 3 feet tall, weighs 45 pounds, last seen wearing gray pants, red and green dinosaur slippers, possibly had a red and white blanket with him. He also has a birthmark on his left knee.
We begin our team coverage with Jason Zimmerman, who spoke to members of the family a short time ago. He's live in Two Rivers with more. Jason.
Next thing you know, the dishes in the kitchen were rattling. Plunk, and down she comes.
Today, northeast Wisconsin taking stock of the damage left by last night's severe weather.
It looked like a war zone for like 6 blocks from here. It was pretty bad. There's trees everywhere now.
Communities coming together for the cleanup effort. And despite damage to property, people are thankful the storm spared them from injury.
You can plant a new tree, but you can't get a new body and a new person or a son, father, whatever. We're lucky.
Coverage of the spring storm tops Action 2 News at 5.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. Authorities confirming tornadoes did indeed hit Wisconsin last night.
This aerial view shows the damage west of Wausau. Closer to home, the National Weather Service surveying damage in the Kaukauna area, one of several local communities hit hard by high winds and heavy rain. Tonight, team coverage of the storm's aftermath. It starts in Kaukauna with Samantha Cavalli, where emergency responders are documenting the damage.
The city of Kaukauna taking a brunt of last night's severe thunderstorms, primarily here at the Roundhouse Manor. As you can see just on the roof here, part of it is missing and did go into the canal. We're being told that over 50 residents have since been relocated.
We arrived on scene. We could see smoke billowing from what looked like a shed structure on this farm behind me. And in the last 3 minutes or so, as you can see in the distance there, crews brought in an excavator, and that excavator currently ripping the roof of that shed off as the fire continues to burn there. We saw some of those pieces of the shed actually had some flames on them. There are fire crews down on the ground right there spraying the pieces of debris with water as that excavator pulls them.
Jason Zimmerman traveled to Madison. He's live now with what we know so far. Jason.
Bill, police still trying to sort out all the details of what led up to this shooting and the motivation behind it. I'm standing just down the road from the Abundant Life Christian School, where police have blocked off South Stoughton Road leading into that building, which is on the city's southeast side. The latest information we have been able to confirm is that the shooter was a 17-year-old female student. Her name has yet to be released tonight. The initial call came in this morning right before 11 o'clock, triggering a response from all across Dane County, including 15 ambulances rushing to the scene. Police say among the dead is a teacher and a student. The weapon was a single handgun. Authorities say the focus now is on providing help to those traumatized.
We have breaking news in First Alert Traffic right now. New video from our viewer right here from Mike Menzel. You could see there is a semi on fire. This is on North I-41 near Grand Chute, Outagamie County. He said he could feel the heat actually from the flames in his car from that semi about 15 feet away. You could see traffic has been backed up, but the DOT says 41 is closed in both directions between Richmond and Northland Avenue. That semi is closer to the Northland Avenue exit. Well, Emily, what are you seeing?
Aisha, just moments ago, it looks like law enforcement opened up 41 southbound, but you can see and smell that smoke in the air. Take a look at this. I'll step aside so you can get a better look. Firefighters are spraying what looks to be that semi. You can see it's pretty burnt. That smoke is just really thick in the area. There are at least a handful of Grand Chute fire rescue trucks in the area. Center Fire Department I'm seeing.
The trucking company Dinazio works for now releasing the dash cam video showing the dramatic rescue as Dinazio approaches the scene with the semi still in motion, bursting into flames.
My body just started moving on its own.
Grabbing a fire extinguisher and acting fast to pull out a woman stuck behind the wheel of the semi, unable to get out on her own. All of this while making his way through knee-high mud, oil, and diesel fuel.
I told her it was going to be okay. I'm here. I smiled and I said I'd help you out.
They felt that their dad was drowned. A day ago, they found out that he wasn't.
A family and a community looking for answers Friday after Ryan Bourguard faked his disappearance in an attempt to go to Europe. Ryan's family reported him missing August 12th after not coming back from a fishing trip at Big Green Lake. Green Lake County Sheriff Mark Podol and his team, along with volunteers such as Bruce's Legacy, spent 54 days searching extensively with boats and drones. From those efforts, items like Ryan's kayak, life jacket, and fishing gear were recovered near Dodge Memorial Park. Search efforts were expected to continue until October 7th, when law enforcement discovered Ryan's name had been checked by law enforcement in Canada just one day after he initially was reported missing.
That was something we didn't expect.
With Bourguard providing authorities a video of himself alive and well. It comes after the Green Lake County Sheriff's Office made contact with a woman who speaks Russian and put Bourguard in contact with investigators.
It's Ryan Bourguard. Today, hello, today is November 11th. It's approximately 10 a.m. by you guys.
In a newly released video Thursday, Ryan Bourguard is seen somewhere in Eastern Europe after being reported missing August 12th. At that time, his family said he did not return home from a kayaking trip. Law enforcement searched the lake for more than 50 days, trying to recover a body that was never there.
He thought his plan was gonna pan out, but it didn't go the way he had planned.
I ran out. I thought there's absolutely no way anybody's alive in there.
I'm told the car was going about 80 miles an hour when it struck the house. You can see where the front end struck this tree. There's some pieces of the vehicle on the ground. Now follow me over here. The car flipped on its side. It struck the garage, causing extensive damage right here. That vehicle badly damaged. And then it flipped on its side right here where these tire marks are. One of the homeowners was watching from the window right there. Maney says boat people inside the car took off running just before police arrived to make an arrest.
It's a first alert weather day because of a winter storm moving into our area, and we have breaking first alert traffic here. Take a look. What you're seeing is I-41 traffic going away from us is going southbound, but in those northbound lanes on the left there, it's tough to see, but there is a semi-trailer lying completely across those northbound lanes.
That's right. We can see up there. I'm going to step out of the way so you can get a closer look. It looks like that the equipment to remove the truck, the tow truck or the wrecker might be a little bit closer to the semi truck right now, and they look like they're getting ready to prepare to try to move it out of the way. It has been here for several hours.
Good morning. You'll want to see this if you have to leave home today. We are driving on Highway 00 heading east toward Kaukauna. Interstate 41 and highways like this one are mostly just wet. Take a look at that. The snow isn't sticking very much to the roads, but you'll still want to be mindful of spray from other bigger cars and trucks passing by.
Often, like if you are within the apex of the bow here, which I'm highlighting Appleton, the Fox cities right now, maybe over here east of Oshkosh, Lake Winnebago, that's where we could have some of these strongest winds at some point, just using past events and storms and radar history as a guide.
And look what's ahead of that bow, Lake Winnebago, where when that wind comes across that water, that frictionless surface, if you're over in Stockbridge, High Cliff State Park, whoa, are you going to get hit with that wind?
And also, this area right here is notorious for spin-ups.
Yes.
Team coverage with Jason Zimmerman, who just received an update from police. He's live now in Two Rivers with more on that. Jason.
Bill, this was a very quick news conference at Two Rivers City Hall lasting roughly about 7 minutes. While police did not answer any questions, they did confirm that the search for Elijah is active and ongoing. Well, police spent much of the day at this apartment complex on Mishicot Road retrieving potential evidence in the area 3-year-old Elijah Vu was last seen. They also went on camera for the first time Wednesday night, assuring the public they haven't given up hope.
Our search and rescue teams have been combing through our neighborhoods, parks, wooded areas, and they've been following up on all leads and tips from the public.
Cammie and Bill, so many emotions shared here tonight of both worry and hope at the vigil here just a few hours ago. Community members and loved ones of Elijah gathered here after another day of searching for the little boy. The parking lot of St. Peter the Fisherman Catholic Church lit up with candles as dozens of people from all over the community united to show their support. Each candle a shared prayer for Elijah's safe return. Some of the hundreds of volunteers who are helping search for Elijah attended, including Tori Weaver, who organized the vigil earlier today.
And I hope that he can feel this, the energy of this community, because we're all praying for him.
We want Elijah to come home. We're praying and hoping that he's somewhere that's safe.
Tammy, good morning. It's been roughly 40 hours since 3-year-old Elijah Vu was last seen at a home on Mishicot Road. That was at 8 a.m. at Tuesday here in Two Rivers, and since 11 a.m. on Tuesday, local authorities, the Department of Justice, all have been searching for the young boy. The community also joining in, hoping to bring Elijah home safely. Take a look at this photo that you're seeing on your screen here. This is 3-year-old Elijah Vu.
The Two Rivers Police Department will provide updates as more information becomes available. Again, thank you. Thank you once again for your continued support and all the cooperation that we've had during these challenging times. Thank you.
You just listened in to the Two Rivers Police Department and their press briefing on Elijah Vu. They are still actively searching for him. They say that the Amber Alert is still active and they are following all avenues given to them. Cell phone data legally gathered by investigators shows Bauer visited Elijah twice while he was with Vang, including on February 14th. That's where investigators say Katrina took a photo of Elijah lying on a bed. He had a, quote, blindfold over his eyes, appears to have bruising on his jawline and neck on the left side, as well as bruising on his upper left arm. That photo was deleted about an hour later. A few days later, on February 16th, surveillance photos, the ones you are seeing right now, captured Elijah and Vang at an auto shop in Two Rivers. And then on February 20th, Elijah is reported missing.
It is with a heavy heart that I announce to you today, those remains were identified as Elijah Vu.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. After 7 months of searching, Elijah Vu's remains have been found. The investigation that started as a search for a missing boy has now become a death investigation. Brittany Schmidt has the latest from Two Rivers.
Bill, just moments after the chief announced that they had found Elijah Vu, the Amber Alert that was issued about 7 months ago was officially canceled. They had found Elijah, and now the next phase of work begins, the death investigation. We first alerted you to the discovery of the remains this past weekend. Aerial footage shows local, state, and federal agencies near a densely wooded area collecting anything of evidentiary value. Elijah's remains were found on private property that had been searched many times before. He was found by a hunter preparing for the upcoming season near Christy Bob Lane and Manitou Drive. The Two Rivers police chief got emotional talking about the impact Vu has had on himself, his officers, and the community.
This is not the outcome that we hoped for. The family's devastated, we're devastated, our community's devastated. I never met Elijah, but I watched that 3-year-old boy bring out the best in this community.
As community members gathered for some live music Friday night, this news laid heavy on their hearts.
All the people worked so hard looking for him. They never gave up. So I'm glad this hunter came across what he did. As sad as what it was, and I'm sorry that he was the one that found it, but because of him, we have closure.
This is a death investigation. Let's go live to Two Rivers for this breaking news.
The Manitowoc County District Attorney's Office
has issued charges in connection with the death of Elijah. Jesse Vang is being charged with physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death, hiding a corpse, and obstructing an officer. Katrina Bauer is being charged with chronic neglect of a child, consequences death, child neglect, and obstructing an officer.
Samantha Cavalli has been following this case from the very beginning and has the story you'll only see on Action 2 News.
I miss him, and I wish I had the opportunity to get to know him more and watch him grow.
Amber Runge describes the last 9 months as gut-wrenching. The body of her nephew, 3-year-old Elijah, was recovered 6 months after he was reported missing in 2 Rivers. Her sister, Katrina Bauer, and Bauer's boyfriend, Jesse Vang, charged in connection with Elijah's death. She says spending the family's first holiday without Elijah was difficult.
You would like a different result. You'd like to be spending time with your entire family, and the fact that, you know, that's been ripped away from us is kind of devastating.
She says what has been getting her through this tough time has been the outpouring of support.
Through some of the most challenging parts of my life, complete strangers have become like best friends, or somebody that you can lean on for support, or people that don't even know you that genuinely care.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A busy Tuesday. Wisconsin's election results coming in as we speak. We're following those 2 statewide referendums, the presidential primaries, and several local races. We will have full reports in just a few minutes. That event also included Trump's endorsement of U.S. Senate candidate Eric Hovde, who's challenging Senator Tammy Baldwin on the Democratic side of the ballot this November. In Your Voice, Your Vote coverage, Jason Zimmerman reports about the issue that Trump hopes will resonate with the voters.
Green Bay was the second stop for former President Donald Trump on Tuesday, who also held a rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That state and Wisconsin, both critical swing states heading into November if Trump is expected to win. And that's exactly the way he made it sound here to his supporters. Former President Donald Trump taking the stage at the KI Convention Center before a big crowd who showed up in a snowstorm.
Has anybody noticed the weather outside? They said, sir, I don't think we're going to make it. I said, we have to. We can't disappoint Green Bay. There's no way.
Cammie Renee White made the last-minute decision on Sunday to attend the RNC. Even though she doesn't have tickets to be inside the arena here, she wanted to come to be a part of the atmosphere when Donald Trump makes his acceptance speech on Thursday night.
It's a scene everyone at the Republican National Convention won't likely forget, as Donald Trump appears for the first time on the convention floor with a bandage covering his ear, where he was shot just a few days ago. In Milwaukee, outside the arena, I spoke with Renee White, who was right behind the former president during the assassination attempt.
And I'm looking at the Jumbotron, and all of a sudden I heard the first shot. And like I immediately, and I've told everybody, I don't know whether I actually seen it or it's just I followed the sound, I don't know. But it came from there, and I immediately went to Trump.
Take a look at what happened.
In the video, during the time of the incident, you can see White dressed in bright blue Trump attire, just over the former president's shoulder on the left side of the screen.
I'm sitting there, and people are dropping off this side, and people are dropping off of that side, and I'm like this is crazy, you know, like they're trying to get between the seats and the benches, and I'm just standing there, and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, this is nuts. It was like an out-of-body experience.
White says she's lucky she wasn't hit and feels bad for those who were. She plans to wear the blue outfit she had on at the time through Election Day in November. After attending 32 rallies since 2016, this one has the most impact.
If we elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz president and vice president, you ain't seen nothing yet.
On the other side of the aisle, Republican Senator Ron Johnson met with reporters at the Trump Hotel, saying Vice President Harris should be held accountable for the policies of the Biden administration, which have led to inflation and a border crisis.
With our political reporter Jason Zimmerman live in Milwaukee. Jason just kind of being a vagabond, moving along with the ticket here. He was in Chicago yesterday, now he's in Milwaukee. But Jason, why is this unusual, what we are going to see tonight in Milwaukee?
Chris, this is something that Democrats are saying has never been done before, where a presidential candidate leaves the host city the week of their convention to hold a rally in a different location. But Democrats also see this as an opportunity. Illinois not really in play. It's likely to vote blue in November, but Wisconsin very much a battleground state. And Democrats don't want to take their eye off the prize here.
Chief political reporter Jason Zimmerman is here with a preview. He's live in Chicago with Your Voice, Your Vote coverage. Jason.
Cami, a lot of activity taking place right now inside the United Center as delegates begin to take their seats for tonight's programming, which includes an acceptance speech by Vice President Kamala Harris. We also wanted to show you the view that those from Wisconsin will have.
While most of the country will be watching from a television screen when Vice President Kamala Harris takes the stage, delegates like Ann Jacobs from Wisconsin couldn't get much closer, telling us she is super excited with big expectations for what's likely to be said.
Her vision, what direction she wants to see things go. I think it's her opportunity to tell all of us here and all of the folks watching at home what that Harris administration is going to look like, and I think she's going to knock it out of the park.
Being a key battleground state, this is how close the Wisconsin delegation is to the stage. They'll be watching Vice President Harris when she makes her address Thursday night from just a few feet away. However, outside the arena, thousands of protesters are expected, which has been the case for the convention all week. A vast majority are calling on the Biden administration to end the war between Israel and Hamas.
Our chief political reporter, Jason Zimmerman, covering the Wisconsin delegation in Chicago. He's live there with Your Voice, Your Vote coverage tonight. Jason.
Bill, Wisconsin Democrats and just about everyone coming out of the United Center tonight showing a tremendous amount of energy after hearing Vice President Kamala Harris accept her party's nomination for president. What's next is a lot of hard work in the battleground state of Wisconsin, which could go either way this November. After a 4-day convention in Chicago, Wisconsin Democrats now focusing on the next few months while playing off the vibe and excitement of seeing their favorite candidates, including Kamala Harris, in the national spotlight.
What they need to take away from this convention is that there is a stark difference between the policies of Donald Trump and the policies of Kamala Harris. Look up Project 2025, look up the policies of Kamala Harris. You're going to see the differences between the two.
The message of working hard for the win was made clear by Harris during a convention week rally Tuesday night in Milwaukee.
No, we haven't already won. 77 days of work to do, my friends.
Democrats hope to attract young voters, especially on issues like supporting reproductive rights and affordable housing. However, Senator Ron Johnson says he believes Wisconsin is still winnable for Donald Trump. Johnson spoke to us in Chicago.
Absolutely, if we focus on the issues, if the public understands the contrast between what President Trump delivered as president, we are a lot better off under his presidency than we have been over the last 3.5 years. So if the public really gets the truth out of the media, I think we should be able to win this thing easily.
Still, the governor says it's Democrats who have the momentum.
People are fired up. Clearly, they understand it's going to be a close race in Wisconsin, a close national race. But people are ready to go to work, to do the hard work. I mean, this is all fun, this is exciting, but at the end of the day, we need to have people vote.
Live from the Mothy Center on UWGB's campus, WBAY presents the 8th Congressional Debate.
It has been, and it is now.
Jesse,
I understand your passion, and I would encourage you to
Jesse
go
would
forward
like to clarify. Jesse would like to clarify the question to Mr.
Weed.
After 2 tumultuous years of politics, our polls are finally closed and the counting is underway. Wisconsin's results could shift the balance of power in D.C. as the nation picks a new president.
Ours is a fight for the future, and it is a fight for freedom.
Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here.
And it's not just the White House. Capitol Hill could see some major changes tonight.
And you know what? We're not going back.
Make America great and restore the American dream, right?
It is literally in our hands to bring this home.
And I guarantee you that I will give it everything that I have
plus the State Assembly and Senate and more, all up for grabs tonight. Our team is standing by across the state to bring you the latest coverage on Your Voice, Your Vote. This special Election Night 2024 edition of Action 2 News at 10 starts right now.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this 2024 election night. Tonight, high-stakes races across the board, especially for the country's commander-in-chief, coming to a pinnacle. Millions of Americans, tens of millions, casting their votes today. A lot of people voting in that early in-person voting as well. The margins of these races coming down to some razor-thin ones.
As predicted here in the battleground, Wisconsin, early polls show their presidential race a virtual tie. The latest Marquette University Law School poll, released just a couple of days ago, shows Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris leading 50-49 over Donald Trump among likely voters over, as we mentioned, Donald Trump. Now, our Action 2 News team live at watch parties for multiple high-stakes races for Wisconsin seat in the U.S. Senate. The 8th congressional race will also join the details of each candidate in just a few minutes. It's still early in the race now for president. As of right now, Republican Donald Trump is leading Democrat Kamala Harris with a 6-point lead. I make that a 7-point lead according to those numbers.
Havdi also mentioning it could take some time for these results to come in from across the state. Of course, we'll continue to bring you the very latest updates right here on Action 2 News as well as online.
But you got to look at that margin. That's a significant margin right there with Donald Trump up 61 to 34%. This is an area that Democrats needed to do well in.
But here at the Lyerly campaign, here at the election party, they are saying it's not over until it is over.
A Walworth County judge has granted an extension for voting at polling locations in the city of Whitewater. It was a request from the Democratic National Party.
Tony, we declared victory here at the Legacy in Green Bay before 15% of the votes were even counted for the 8th Congressional District.
Finally, I'd like to thank President Trump. His support for me over this campaign is second to none. That's right. You know, and it is truly an honor to have his endorsement. And I look forward to going to work with him in Washington to get this country back on track.
I thank God every day that I came back home, because a lot of my buddies didn't. So,
will those buddies be on your mind when you're there?
Probably.
And this is going to be, to me is going to be a trip of a lifetime. Let's put it this way: my reaction is going to be a lot different than the reaction of the Germans when they found out that there was going to be 5,000 ships coming after them.
First it was France, and that was I'll never forget that. We were I don't know if we were there a week or 2 days or 10 days. In time I didn't know. Anyhow, some ladies brought us some vegetable soup for our unit. That was the best soup I ever ate in my life.
Jason Zimmerman has kept in touch with the family. He's live in the studio now with his exclusive update.
It's like one of the hardest things I've ever faced in my life.
For the Gonzalez family, it was unthinkable. A crash just days before Christmas last year at the hands of an alleged drunk driver in Wapaka County, ending the life of Danielle, Fabian, Lillian, and Daniela. Adding to the trauma was the family's desire to bring the remaining sibling Jorge to Waiawega, whose visa application to attend the funeral was denied.
Bring Jorge home! Bring Jorge home!
The family making this video hoping to push elected officials to act, which ultimately was unsuccessful.
In this story you will only see here on Action 2 News, Drew Best spent a day with Brett and his family in Chicago detailing his latest progress.
We're walking. We're going fishing. Let's go.
6 months removed from a life-altering brain injury, Brett Jedwabny is walking nearly every single day in physical therapy, something doctors early on told him he would never do again. But that all changed when he arrived in Chicago.
When we spoke to Shirley Ryan Ability Lab and our lead doctor here, he's like, wait a minute, we're not saying that. We are going to work tirelessly at it.
Brett, alongside his parents Tyler and Nicole, and his little brother Grant, working with therapists every day, relearning movements and muscle memory, and making strides in the process.
He's doing a lot better job walking,
rolling in bed, getting in and out of bed. These are all things we've been practicing a lot. Stand up, good. Good, stand tall.
Brett's new challenge here at the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab is starting to sit on his own without any support. This is something that therapists say he started doing in a sling, but now as you can see, he's starting to do it all by himself.
And our Action 2 News team brings you all the latest coverage. Emerson Lehman standing by in Detroit. But first, we go to our sports director, Chris Roth, live at Lambeau Field with what the Packers are thinking about going into round one. Chris.
All right, Bill and Cammie, as you mentioned, this thing kicks off in just about an hour, but it's going to be several hours before the Packers make a pick or a deal. Green Bay with that 25th selection tonight, but keep in mind, Goody has 2 picks each in the second and third round, so he has the ammunition to make a deal if he wants to move up. Right now, 11 total selections going into this draft.
The more competitive we can make it, the better. So we'll see how it goes, but I think, it's one of the hallmarks around here has always been that the best players play, regardless of where you were taken or how much you're getting paid, the best players are going to play.
The draft has just hit capacity for tonight, so they will not be allowing any more fans into the draft experience. We've been showing you inside for the last 2 hours. Now we're outside, and all these fans that are out here, they will have to be watching from somewhere else. There's several viewing parties set up throughout the neighborhoods here in Detroit to give those fans that experience. They're expecting 420,000 fans here over the course of the 3-day draft. And over the next 3 days, Green Bay leaders are here learning about the draft. They're anticipating similar numbers next year. A group of those leaders spending a few days here in Detroit learning everything they can so that Green Bay can be set up for success in 2025.
Learned a lot about the logistics of an event of this scale and how they expect things to play out.
Fortunate that we staff a Packer game and have that process down pretty well. And then transitioning that into a multi-day event. We kind of know what to expect, but also know it's going to be a little bit different.
Off the dock and on the clock, Green Bay now officially has the NFL draft.
I can think of no better place to host the NFL draft for the great state of Wisconsin and Green Bay.
A ceremonial football ferried across Lake Michigan being biked north right now from Milwaukee to Lambeau Field.
Bicycling is a big part of the state of Wisconsin, just like football is. And so to be able to combine the two together, it's a great opportunity to just be a part of it.
Our countdown to the draft coverage tops Action 2 News at 5. Team coverage is focused on our countdown to the draft coverage. We start in Milwaukee with Emerson Lehman, where the handoff between the states took place.
The ball has been handed off, the play underway. That draft football on its way to Titletown after an early morning trip over the choppy waters of Lake Michigan to the shoreline here in Milwaukee. The Lake Express ferry taking the handoff from Michigan and delivering that ball safely to Wisconsin. Now, the draft isn't just bringing excitement to Green Bay and the state of Wisconsin. It's expected to bring over 250,000 visitors and an economic impact of $94 million to the state, something Governor Tony Evers says everyone can celebrate.
We're the home of Titletown. We sure the hell aren't going to fumble it on our own turf.
Bill, the bikers are a couple of hours into their long trek, about 140 miles from Milwaukee to Titletown, with some historic pit stops along the way. Here's an aerial view of their first stop with the ceremonial football in hand, the Summerfest grounds. We are just 36 days away from the annual major music festival in Milwaukee.
It's truly an opportunity to showcase Wisconsin, our communities, the football culture, and also our great outdoor recreation.
At this time, the bikers should be getting pretty close to their stop in De Pere.
We're here on Armed Forces Drive. We are at the ready at the entrance of Radnitschke Field. You can see here beautiful Lambeau Field in the background. What a gorgeous day. This would be a wonderful day to get the kids involved in that bike ride. Now the Packers are asking you and the family to come on down here. Be here at 6 o'clock sharp. Of course, the Packers putting their own twist on the draft by including the kids with the biking tradition.
Jason Zimmerman continues our team coverage from Lambeau Field with a countdown clock to the draft is about to be unveiled. Jason.
Bill, that clock is all set to go, I'm told. Fans are just starting to gather inside the Lambeau Field atrium for tonight's big event. That clock right behind me, you can see it. It is all covered up just above a sign greeting fans either coming to a game or visiting the stadium for another event.
Looks like they're still getting some video of everything, getting excited, getting their water set, getting their bikes ready to go. We'll have periodic updates for you throughout the day here on the Digital News Desk, just kind of following along with the fun as the bikers make their way to the frozen tundra.
Well, it's an older facility. It's not like a lot of the gaudy monstrosities of the NFL. It normally holds nearly 50,000 people. I think 50,000 was the most when they held the opening game of the World Cup here in 2014. It's a really cool venue in that it's got this sort of semi-roof over the top of it. Will can show you, our photographer. And there's fans all over the place in different NFL jerseys. We know with international games to expect not just fans of the two combatants in the contest, but of every NFL team, because it's a chance for these international fans who are fans of, say, the Chiefs or the Patriots or any number of teams to really tune this one in. I think it's really cool that they get to play in South America, in this city especially. Asia's got a lot of the biggest cities on earth, the top three. The biggest city outside of Asia is Sao Paulo, Brazil, and it is monstrous.
We're really honored that the league chose us to be one of the two teams to play in the first game ever here, and it's been an eye-opening experience. I mean, none of us have been here before, and just see, and we were talking earlier, I have no idea how big Sao Paulo is.
Well, it's just like golf. At the end of the day, they ask you how many, not how. For the Packers, 16 was the answer without Jordan Love, and it was good enough to get the win today against the Colts in the home opener.
The thing is to celebrate it and then keep moving forward, you know, to hopefully progress into more wins. You know, good teams keep going, and you know, that's what we look forward to doing.
The mindset this week is just come out and be us, hold our defense, you know, to our standard, and play complementary ball, you know, special teams, offense, and defense. And I feel like we came out today, did that, and we got the outcome that we wanted. But, you know, having a quarterback that prepares how he prepared this week, and we don't got no worries.
The fans, they couldn't ask for a better day at Lambeau Field. From the delicious smell of burgers and brats sizzling on the grill, the pep band tunes echoing through the crowd. Go, go! There's just something about that Lambeau magic.
Everything about being here is about being a part of the experience. I've never met better fans in the world. They're always great. Even the opponents out here have a great feel.
And here's a live look at where the always interesting ultralights are going to stage. The first ultralight showed up here at EAA for the Fly-In 1976. 3 years later, there were 100. And that number continues to rise, so you are going to see plenty of those this week as well. And we welcome you into our location here behind the EAA Museum on the grounds and right in front of EAA's B17.
Well, it's a lot of stuff going on, which is interesting because you're still putting up the city, as you called it. Yeah. At the same time, we have people arriving and are starting to look around saying, hey, what's out here right now? Yeah. So it's an interesting mix. It's something you wouldn't do at Lambeau. You keep the stadium closed before the game would start. Right. But here, we're setting up the stadium while people are coming in and sitting down in the stands while we're still building them. So it's kind of that correlation.
I've had people do it the entire thing in 45 minutes. I've had people in here for 3.5 hours.
Just for reference, I'm standing about 5'2", and these corn stalks tower over me. It's very easy to get lost here. As part of a larger celebration of Wisconsin's agricultural heritage, Pedals and Plows is one of 4 farms creating giraffe-themed mazes this fall.
And after his principal, Tony Ebeling, fits his wheelchair with an important piece of equipment, Nolan takes off for the playground, which has a rubberized surface covered in snow.
Plow, plow, plow. I'm really good at plowing.
They are some of the unique and inspiring people we've had the privilege to meet.
Kind of get on the white line, and I gotta push, push, push.
Their humility, creativity, and passion is one of a kind.
I really pride myself in bringing out their spirit in their eyes and their facial expressions so that you can feel it when you look at them.
They represent the fabric of our small towns.
It does give me great joy. I mean, when people call me, oh, can I look at your clocks? Sure.
People you remember and respect.
Then when I started digging into this genealogy thing, I discovered
good Lord, there are a lot of them.
Now, some of the small town stories we've been honored to tell.
Welcome and thanks for joining us for this small town special. I'm Jeff Alexander.
So this has been going on absolutely all day. It started a little bit less full than this, right, Bill?
Oh boy, my goodness, last Friday was like, ooh, what happened? But boy, what a difference a day makes. Big day as Toys for Tots last call.
Yep, look at this time-lapse video that the Marines have of us bringing in donations all through the day, through our lobby all day today, filling this place, making it feel like Christmas. Each donation ensures that no child goes without a gift.